Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Hey everybody, Cappy here. Training for Mount Charleston in Las Vegas. 16.6 mile round trip hike. I think it's I got varying reports, 4,500 and then one said 5,200 foot gains. I don't know what I'm in for, but I've been training. And I said, yeah, Cappy, a little lighter. Yeah, actually I am. I've been running and just training and preparing for it. But anyway, yes, I do look better than I did before. I improve with age, just like Scotch. So that's right. Anyway, we got a video request from Alex, and Alex writes, to Aaron. Recently, I was listening to a debate between a political science major and an economics major concerning trade. I have mixed views regarding this topic and was hoping you could shed some light on it. The political scientist mentioned that he was in favor of a protectionist society that allowed trade but had some protectionist measures to help safeguard our own people and their well-being, as well as maintain political control of our country. Such safeguards included tariffs and anti-dumping laws and political controls, such as preventing foreigners who don't have citizenship in a specific country to purchase housing and driving up the housing prices to the point that local citizens cannot buy a house on the salary they earn. The economics major mentioned that by allowing free trade, it would increase the wealth in this country and force the local population to increase its skill set in order to compete and thus produce greater wealth and technology, as well as push society away from continuing agricultural and manufacturing businesses to more of a knowledge-based society. Would you be able to go into some depth with this and explain what you think is a better system to operate under? Thank you, Alex. And this is a good question. So what we're going to do, excuse me, always cough after I run. Let's explain the basics of trade and what trade is so we know what we're operating from, and then we'll go into concepts of dumping and tariffs and all that other stuff, and then you could for yourself determine, of course everything is my opinion, but you could come to your own judgment. Now, the first thing, trade is good. Take away borders, and that is what an economy is. It's trade. Now, I know you pay me money, but what you're really doing is you're trading your skills and services, whatever you do, Alex, to raise the money to pay me to provide you the service. So whatever you're, I don't know, let's say you're a doctor. In a grand scheme of things, you are exchanging your doctor services for my educational YouTubing services. Someone's a dentist, they trade that so someone makes them a sandwich. Again, it's indirect. We all convert our labor into money, but then we go and buy, effectively trading with other people in this country to help maintain, expand, and enhance our lives. Now add borders. Well, it doesn't change anything just because we have different countries, and different countries, because of varying variables, location, natural resources, culture, types of people, they're very good at making certain things, and they're very bad at making other certain things. And just as you would, think about this, well, I'm not going to trade somebody, I'm not going to buy stuff from Wisconsin, I'm not going to buy their cheese, and you're saying, well, I'm not going to buy Texan oil. We don't think that way. But it's no different. So why would you not want to buy from overseas? And if you think about it, different countries are very well renowned and known for different things they make. They're very good, the best in the world at making them. So I got a couple lists here. Now just think about this. Swiss are good at making chocolate and watches. We're Americans, we're good at making movies and fighter planes. Everyone wants those. Saudis, they're good at making oil because they have it. Russians, they're good at making vodka and fighter planes as well. And Latin America, like the Caribbean and Latin America countries, Central America primarily, they're very good at making cigars, right? And we want those things. They're very good. Now let's switch it. Let's say there's no trade, okay? Now, everyone has to produce their own stuff. Now, you tell me how good all this sounds, okay? We just switch it around a little bit. The Russian cigar. Do you really trust a Russian cigar? How many people say, I want a Russian cigar, okay? Saudi chocolate. It doesn't sound the same, Swiss movies. not saying they can't make good movies, just it really isn't compelling. When you say Hollywood or Bollywood, there's another example. India has got Bollywood. They're kind of experts in their own right. But I'm not rushing out to see a Swiss movie. No offense to our Swiss brothers and sisters. American vodka. We make it, but I'd rather have Irish whiskey. You know, Irish vodka? Oh. And then finally, Latin American fighter planes. Not a big market for Latin American fighter planes. I'm picturing the South Park episode where they go to the Mexican space agency and the Mexicans launch a rocket to the moon. So you can see why trade is very, very good, because you're not just limiting yourself to your own resources within your own country. You're allowing yourself to buy anything around the world, and that's good because 7 billion people across 176 different countries are going to come up with some pretty cool shit. And you want to buy that shit because it's going to be higher quality and it's going to be cheaper. And that is the goal of economics. So trade overall is good. Now, sometimes people cheat when it comes to trading. When it comes to trade, you'd like it to be free market. Like, okay, we're going to buy your stuff, you're going to buy our stuff. And the reason people cheat is noble purposes, but it moots, it blocks, it stunts your growth. It stunts trade, and therefore the standards of living of all people across the world when people start playing games and cheat and putting up trade barriers. Now, the reason they do that, again, is well-intentioned. You want to protect your jobs at home. You want to, like you got a factory, a plant, and all of a sudden some other country, like Japan was the number one auto manufacturer for a while there, and Korea all of a sudden came along and started, Japan now has an incentive to put tariffs, taxing Korean cars, so that Korean cars are way out of the price of the average Japanese person's budget. Right? The United States, we could do the same thing, but we could do the same thing with our agriculture. We could subsidize the hell out of our agricultural business so that we have the cheapest wheat in the world, and those people over in Ukraine, they can't compete with us, even though they have probably higher quality and lower cost wheat than what we do, but we subsidize it with our tax dollars so that we put the Ukrainian wheat farmers out of business. And then what else? Oh, and then the one I find to be particular, I don't know. I'm not a genius, I'm just average, and that makes me a genius compared to most other economists. I don't know why we allow China to control their currency. And when it comes to international trade, our largest trading partner, second largest, Canada's our largest trading partner. Here you have China, and they keep their exchange rate artificially low, artificially weak, so that we say, well, we're going to outsource our jobs over there. It's cheaper to hire the Chinese labor. Well, that's because they have an artificially low interest or exchange rate, and the Chinese control that. If you let it flow freely, the increasing production of the Chinese economy would give their yuan, their currency, more value than the U.S. dollar, and then the yuan would rise against the dollar, and then employing Chinese labor would become much more expensive, and then we'd say, whoa, it's too expensive. Their labor's way too. We're going to hire here in the United States. And that's one of my main, I'll agree with the Democrats on the left on that. That is one of the, and the unions. That fucking shit shouldn't have happened. I don't know why we signed any trade agreements with China when they have a controlled currency. But again, they're cheating there. And then what everybody's doing, we like to say, oh, we're so hoity-toity and all, but I got screwed. I got dog-fucked by the Swiss National Bank, or their central bank, whatever they call it. Now, central banks are doing what's called a race to the bottom. To help their economies grow, countries' central banks are making their currencies weaker. So how do you make a currency weaker? Well, you print off more, so you inflate it away, and it goes down in value relative to other currencies. And then you lower your interest rate, so no one wants to buy your assets. There's no demand for assets, bonds, stocks in your denominated currency. And they do that, so people say, it's cheaper. And what happened to me in Switzerland, when the United States was collapsing back in the the housing crash, I bought some Swiss francs. And the Swiss, it was brilliant, it was simple, and then it got so strong, and Switzerland is a heavily export-dependent country. They ended up just like saying, we're stopping it here, we're capping it at 125 francs per euro, and I don't know what they did specifically in terms of monetary policy, but they either printed off more money or they dropped their interest. Now interest rates are like negative in Switzerland. And just to make their currency lower so that their export businesses, their labor, their industry, their goods would be in demand globally. So everyone's playing these games, whether they're outright blatantly wrong, like we're going to increase tariffs and put taxes on it and all of that tax and subsidize our industries. Koreans did that a lot too, so that we don't have to face foreign competition, or it's more politically correct and subdued or subtle, where it's central bank monetary policy. Anyway, so to solve this problem, take away the monetary policy. I don't mean to. Let's not confuse the issue here. So to make sure that trade would work, because we know on a general, we all got to be in this together. Look, we can all stand to gain greatly. The Latin Americans don't have to make their shitty fighter planes. The Americans don't have to make their god-awful vodka. The Russians don't have to make their god-awful cigars. And heaven help us, the Swiss don't have to make their movies. Let's let everybody specialize, and we're going to agree to a set of trading rules and principles, and that will make things fair, and hopefully won't destroy anyone's economy or their base or anything like that. And originally it was called GATT. That was in 1940, a General Agreement on Trades and Tariffs. Taxes? No, Trade and Tariff, I think it was. Now, that was replaced, or not now, but 20-some years ago, it was replaced by the World Trade Organization. And this is just basically like an international court, an international group represented by all the different, like the UN, that has rules and regulations by which everyone in this group agrees to obey and abide by. And if there's a trade dispute between two countries, you go to the World Trade Organization, because we all agreed to sign up. It's like an arbiter, a third-party arbiter. And we go to the World Trade Organization, and they say, okay, we're going to rule on this, and we're going to rule against that. And it has worked relatively well. I'm sure I don't really terribly follow it a lot, but international trade does occur. There's not a ton of, tit-for-tat type exchange, although we have been kind of engaging in currency wars with Russia, but again, separate issue. So that is kind of the arbiter and the peacekeeper and the final judge, and okay, this is how we all get along. And then global trade benefits, the world population benefits, because we're not being protected by Latin American fighter planes, and we're not embracing the suck watching horrible Swiss movies. Now, as to the debate of your two buddies that were talking, the political scientists and the economists, I don't even know if there was really a debate, because the way you put it, I think they're both right. And I think maybe they were just hashing it out to what level of protectionist measures there should be. But I think I don't really see how their positions are mutually exclusive. The political scientist does want trade, but he does want, the safeguards, as you mentioned before, to use in case it's necessary. And I can totally see that. That makes total sense, because, right now, we should be tariffing the fuck out of Chinese goods. If you guys, but it ain't going to happen, because you all want your iPhones to be, under $500. But if you want a manufacturing base to come back to the United States, we'd be saying, hey, you let your currency exchange freely there, China. But that's not going to... But we don't have to go to a World Trade Organization. Well, we do. But if we had the option, we could start putting tariffs on China. So I do believe that there's always a chance someone's going to cheat. OPEC cartels, you got all this stuff going on. You would never limit yourself. So, oh, no, we'd never use protectionist measures. Well, you absolutely should if someone's going to cheat. If they're going to cheat, you punish them. You cheat back. Right? So... it's not like which system do I think is better. I think everybody kind of agrees free trade, world trade is good. Unless you're one of these fucking dipshit hipster college sophomores who suck the cock of their long-haired, ponytailed, washed-up 60s douchebag professor who don't know jack fucking shit. Hey, they all got their iPhones made in China. I'm against world trade. And you know the hypocrites. You know the type. So they think that world trade is horrible and evil, but no, really, you want world trade. So I think it's. I don't think there's really any debate. I think I would talk to them both again. I think they probably agree. I think they maybe just would agree to the level of the scale, but I don't even think the political science guy sounded like he was saying like, we gotta have tariffs now. I think he was just saying we should have a couple bullets in the chamber in case anybody tries to fuck with us on international trade. And so that's it. So yeah, I mean, when you get the saner minds, you know, more mature minds, people that like actually worked in the real world and don't just, I'm majoring in international relations. I went and worked at the Peace Corps. And I just think global trade and corporations and capitalism are ruining the planet. Yeah, fuck them. When it boils down to it, do you want Swiss chocolates or do you want Russian cigars? I mean, which one is it? So, anyway, hope we learned a little bit about international trade and the trade wars that can occur. And for God's sake, don't be that ignorant douche saying you're against global trade. Just wake the fuck up and not even read a book. Just think it through, man. Best of luck. Toodles.